Hello guys, welcome to another interesting problem in the series of coding. The problem is called lowest common ancestor in a binary tree. So you're given a binary tree with all unique values and two nodes n1 and n2. We have to find the lowest common ancestor of the given two nodes. So we can assume either both n1 and n2 are present or none of them is present. Let's try to understand through various examples and then it will be easier to build a logic. Okay. So let's say if we are given nodes, let's say 4 and 14. What is the lowest common ancestor? So you can see that 4 is coming along this, 14 is coming along this. They are meeting at this node, right? So for these two, the answer will be 7. Okay, 4 is here, 14 is here. The answer will be 7. Okay, so for 4 and 14, the answer is 7. Let's see some other example. Let's say we are given nodes 3 and 10. What is their lowest common ancestor? So for 3, it's we can trace back up to here. For 10 also we can trace back up to here. Lowest common ancestor will be 5. Okay, for 3 and 10 the answer is 5. Now let's take 2 or 3 more examples. What about 1 and 2? For 1 and 2 what is the answer? So 2 we can trace back up to here, 1 we can trace back up to here, and they'll meet at 7 and then they'll go forward. But lowest common ancestor will be 7. So for 2 and 1 the answer is 7. Okay, let's try to take one more example. Let's say 4 and 12. What is our lowest common ancestor? For 4 and 12, 4 we can trace back up to here, 12 also up to 16. So the answer is 16. Okay, let's just take one more example, final one. Let's say 5 and 3. What is the answer? So 5 is here, 3 is here. So 5 will meet here and 5 will meet 3 along its path at 5 itself, right? So okay, let's try to now build cases. Once we have seen what do we mean by lowest common ancestor, let's try to build cases. Okay, let's begin with the easiest case which we just saw now, right? If it is something like this, that means along the path itself we can find the parent node or the ancestor node of the particular node. Then the first node that we see is the answer, right? So the simple case is first case, right? First case, simply if along the path, right, you are seeing the current node. Let's say you start iterating, okay, and you have to find the answer for 3 comma 5. You start iterating and you see 5, right? Then you can return 5, right? 5 will be the answer. So if you are seeing the node on the current path, you can just return that particular node, right? In case 1, 3 and 5 are on the same path. So the answer for this is just 5. So whichever node you are seeing first, you can return that in this particular case, right? For example, 9 and 7, you can simply return 7. If you are seeing 7, you can return 7. Okay. Now let's see some other type of example. Okay. What about the case for 10 and 1? Okay, what is the answer for the case between 10 and 1? The answer is 7, right? They are meeting at this particular case, right? The answer for 10 and 1 is 7. How do we reach to 7? So for reaching to 7, okay, so 7 will get a value from the left child and 7 will get a value from the right child. Now left child will also return a non-null value. Right child will also return a non-null value, right? Because left child of 7 is returning 10. Okay, if we are trying to look for 10 and 1, right, we are trying to find the lowest common ancestor for 10 and 1. Its left child is saying 10 is present with me, 10 is present in my family branch, and similarly its right child is saying 1 is present in my family branch. Both are saying we have one element each, right? Both are saying that we are not null. We both have one element each. So in that case, the answer is 7, right? This is the case 2. This is the case 2, right? Case 2, when both left, forgive my handwriting, it is really not good, but let's try to build the solution. When both left and right, okay, when both left and right are saying that they are not null, okay, they are saying that means they both have one element each, right? The answer is the current root or the current node in this particular case, right? When both left and right are saying that we have one elements each, the answer will be the current root itself. Okay, let's take some other example. Let's say you're trying to find the lowest common ancestor for 3 and 8. What will be the answer? 3 for 3 and 8, the answer will simply be 5, right? Answer will be 5, because what is happening is 5's left and right child both are going to return not null values. They will return the node itself, right? 5's left child will return 3, 5's right child will return 8. They both are not null, so we can return 5. Okay, now what happens further? Once we have returned 5, right? What will happen for the further nodes? Okay, let's go to the case 3. Now, so we will return 5. To our further calls, we will return 5. Now, what will 6 see? 6 left child will return 5, right? 6 left child will return 5. But 6 right child will return null. So, if one of them is null, one is not null, right? Case 3. One is null, one is not null. Then in that case, you have to simply return the not null node. That's it. One is null, one is not null. Return the node that is not null. That's it. This is your answer. Okay. So in this particular case, 6 right child is null. It is returning null. By null, I just don't mean that it is having value null, but it hasn't found any element with it. It will return null, and left child will return 5. So what will 6 return? 6 will just continue and return 5, right? Because our answer is 5 in this case. So 6 should also return 5. Okay, so 6 will return 5 back to its parent call. Now what will 7 see? 7's left child has returned 5. What will 7's right child do? 7's right child will try to look for the elements, right? Which elements were we searching for? We were searching for 3 and 10, right? 3 and 10 or something like this, where the answer was 5, right? We are searching for elements like this. Okay, so when we are searching for 3 and 10 in this particular case, right, in the right child of 7, nowhere is 3 found or nowhere is 10 found, right? So since none of the elements are found, the right child will finally get exhausted and it will say, I am unable to find any of the elements, so my answer is null. I am not able to find either 3 or 10, right? I am not able to find any of the elements which we are looking for. So what will the right child return? Right child will simply return null. Again we get the same condition. Left child is not null, right child is null. In this case, what will we return? We will return the root which is not null, right? So which is that? That is 5. So 7 will also continue with 5, right? 7 will also return 5. Okay, and 16's right child will also return null because it is not able to find any of the elements 3 and 10, right? So this will return null, this will return 5. So finally we'll return 5 as our answer in this particular case. Okay, let's take one or two more examples and then we'll move forward to coding it. Okay, so let's see example of, let's say, 8 and 9. Okay, let's say example of 8 and 9. Okay, so we are starting from the first element, right? We are starting from the first element. We are going to simply recursively keep on calling the left and right children, right? So when we see, so we'll keep on calling first the left children. Now in this particular case, right, what will happen? Here we are seeing both of them as null. So we can just return null. Okay, so this guy will return null. Okay, then we'll go forward. This guy will also return null. Okay, because they are not able to find either 8 or 9, right? So either the children are null or they are not able to find the elements. In that case, what they'll do? They'll return null because they couldn't find 8 or 9 in this branch, right? So this will return null. Now we will come here, right? Now 5 will call its right child, right? It will keep on making the recursive calls. So once it makes the recursive call to 8, right? It sees that, right? It sees that it is the current value. We want to find the common ancestor between 8 and 9. So 8, we have found 8, right? So we'll return 8 itself. Here we will return 8 as the answer. Okay, so this guy will return 8 back to its parent 4. Okay, 4 will see that its left child is returning null, but its right child is returning 8. So it will put forward 8. Okay, whichever is the not null value, it will put forward. So this will also return back 8. Okay, now again this will also, what it will do? This will also return back 8. Okay, till we find 9, we will keep on returning 8. Now what will the next root do? This guy will also return back 8. Okay. Now what will 7 do? 7 will make a call to its right child. So it is finding 9, right? So from here onwards, what we will do? We will return back 9. So this guy is returning back 9. Okay. This guy is also returning back 9. So from here onwards, both will return 9. So in this case, what will happen? For 7, we can see that one side it is getting 8, one side it is getting 9. Okay, left child is also not null, right child is also not null. Okay, so in that case, what will 7 do? 7 will not return 8 or 9. It is confused, right? What should I return, 8 or 9? So it will return itself as the answer. It will return 7 as the answer. Okay, before that we had a clear path, but in this case, from here onwards, we will return 7 as the answer. Okay, and 16's right child will return null because it's not able to find any of the elements 8 or 9. Okay, so 16's right child will return null. So now 1 is null, 1 is 7. Okay, so 16 will return back 7. 7 is the answer. In this case, we can also see that the common ancestor between 8 and 9 is 7. Let's see that common ancestor between 8 and 9 is 7. Okay, 7 is the answer, which is what we have returned back. Okay, now let's move forward to coding this. So in this particular case, this is the main function where basically we are coding the entire logic. So in this case, if root is first of all null, in that case we have to return null. Okay, second condition, if we are finding the particular data value, right? Let's say we are looking for 8 and 9. In this case, suppose we found 8, then in that case what we'll do, we'll just return the current root from here on. We need not go into the depths, right? We can just return the current root. Now we can make a recursive call on the root's left child, we can make a recursive call on the root's right child, right? We are looking for the root's left as well as the root's right child if they are having any of the elements. Okay, so this calls will only take place if we have not found the element at the particular root. Okay, so then we'll go forward to these calls. So we are looking in the left and right branches. Now if both of them are returning, right, not null values, right, both are not null, like in our example we saw that at 7 both left and right children, in our example we saw that at 7, right, at 7 what happened, its left child was returning 8, its right child was returning 9, both are returning not null values, right? So in that case what will happen, you can return the particular root. So in this case we'll return 7. Okay, otherwise if one of them is positive, one of them is not null. Okay, if the left root is not null, we can return the left root. If the otherwise we can return the right root, right? If right root is not null, we'll return the right root. What if both are null? It doesn't matter, it will anyway, null will get returned back. Okay, so this is the simple code. Let us submit and see if it is working. So it's working. That's it. Thank you for being patient and listening.